And Aiga, you might want to put on your title, Deeply Rooted Dance Theater. So welcome everybody. I'm Byron Johns and I am the founder of A Place to Be. We're hosting 7 days of celebrating collectives during Kwanzaa. Thank you so much for being here. This is an opportunity to engage with the people who are working on the project. You may have some questions or feedback or just want to make a statement, but we're here to have somewhat of a talk back. Before I begin, I just want to explain that there's 2 parts to the project. Each day we have a collective and a choreographer. Yesterday was A Place to Be, and we had a choreographer from South Africa, which he did an amazing job with his work. Thanks to Christopher Eclipse for introducing us. And today we have Clifton McDonald, and the choreographer is Christopher Eclipse. But what I want to say is that there's 2 parts to it. There's a pre-recorded session, and that's up on YouTube, and people can go there and watch it at any time that they want. And then there's this live session at some point during the day. I want to say that different collectives have different times, different contexts. So it's the kind of collaboration where the collectives and the choreographers get to decide how they want to do that. So we're here for your feedback, questions, and anything you want to share with us. We're taping the session so that people can see it, and it's all a part of the event. We'll put this up on YouTube as well, and we can talk at the end a bit more, but I want to turn it over to our host, Mr. Clifton McDonald, and he is with Sankofa, a collective that he founded. And he's in London, and Clifton and I have talked a lot about African Americans and British Black folk and making that bridge. There seems like there's lots of opportunities. And I know that at least with African Americans, I think that there could be more of an exchange than we've currently had. So Clifton, take it away.
Hey, thank you very much, Byron. And before I begin, I mean, what's really, really important is to ask Byron for permission. Do I have your permission to speak?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. And for me, that's really, really important. If we're really talking about self-determination and really kind of reclaiming parts of our history, it's really important that that it's not one just of, it's one of practice. And the reason why I asked permission from Byron is that asking for permission from Byron sets up two things really. One, that Byron's representing the community of Place to Be, and Byron has a responsibility to ensure that anybody he asks to work on behalf of Place to Be, right, that they come with a kind of genuine heart and actually work in collaboration with Place to Be. What it also does is that me asking for permission means that I have a responsibility to come and speak my truth, right? And represent myself as well as represent Byron in the way that it is. And for me, that's really important. Too often we have people that come and talk to our community that doesn't necessarily have our best interests at heart. And this exchange actually reminds us, right, of that responsibility that we have for each other and the community. So I just wanted to kind of start that. So thank you, Byron, for that permission. I also want to thank each and every one of you for being present, right? That's really, really important. The call was put out and you're the ones that answered the call. And so you're meant to be here, right? And I don't know what it is that you will get, but there's a reason for you being here. It might be something that somebody says or share, right, that you will get, but there's a reason. And so just wanted to kind of acknowledge each and every one of you making your time to be here. And we kind of cover different parts of the globe. I mean, I can see people here from London and people from the States. And I just want to kind of say, I think that's it. Is there anybody else outside of the States, America and London, England here? I don't think so. I just want to acknowledge that kind of collaboration between us. So that being said, what I want Byron to do is that if he shows the the beginning part of the video, which kind of talks about and welcomes the whole thing around Kwanzaa. Oh, and I just forgot to say, right, yes, my name's Clifton, and I will share a little bit more about me, and I'm going to be your host for the next 40 odd minutes, right? And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But my also aim for this bit is for us to have a dialogue. So I most probably will be asking you questions, right? Which is, for me, will be very significant in terms of self-determination, right? And KUJICHAGULIA, which is what we're here for to celebrate. So over to you, Byron.
Okay, we had an echo and I just corrected that. So we should be able, just let me know if you see the video.
I can see the video.
Okay, great. Let's start it here.
During Kwanzaa, ceremonially, we light a new candle. You know, we start off with you know, the unity candle in the middle, you know, for Umoja. You know, we move out to the red KUJICHAGULIA, and so on and so forth. You know, until the whole Kinara is lit up. You know, when you have your house, you know, dark, it's actually a beautiful sight, you know, to do with your family there. Speaking of families, I also have here, you know, representing the harvest, I have a basket. I actually have, you know, African cloth that's actually from Tanzania. And in the basket representing both the harvest and the children in our house, you know, we just have some fruit here. You know, you can use fruit, you know, some people use corn, but just representing the first harvest. You know, I actually have 2 apples here, you know, representing our girls here, and, you know, orange representing, you know, our little boy, TJ. So, yeah, so what I like to do is just get into the ceremony. So we do it like this every day. Yes. It's the second day of Kwanzaa, so the answer would be KUJICHAGULIA. So for KUJICHAGULIA, here's our Kinara. So we already have the unity candle, the first candle that, you know, was representing, you know, Umoja, which was yesterday. So to add to the Umoja, and to add to the light on our Kinara, you know, we light the second candle, which is for KUJICHAGULIA, which means self-determination. You know, so as Black people, that's us, you know, deciding for ourselves, for us defining ourselves, for us controlling our own narrative. You know, very, very important. So say it with me as we celebrate KUJICHAGULIA.
KUJICHAGULIA.
And once again, may the principles of Kwanzaa carry through, not just through the 7 days, but every day of our year.
Okay, we're going to see Eclipse's dance next, but Clifton, I turn it back to you.
Okay, thank you. And just before I move on, the other thing I think is really important is just for us to have a moment of silence, if that's okay with people. So I'm just going to have a moment of silence. Okay, and thank you for honoring that moment. And for me, the moment of silence has quite a number of significance. One, I mean, for me, it's about honoring those who's come before, all right? It's recognizing those family members, community leaders, community workers, all of those who's come before, whose back and shoulders we stand on. Without them, we wouldn't be here and being able to do what it is. So for me, it's really important to acknowledge those along our family lines and those that mean a lot to us, and actually for some of us who represents and kind of calls us to do what it is we do. The other thing is that moment of silence also supports me to kind of get grounded, to be here just for a moment, right? It's been a busy time, so that just allows us to do that. Okay, so with that said, And just before we go in and see Christopher Eclipse's piece, what comes up for people when they hear the word Kwanzaa and self-determination? What comes up for people? And if you can unmute yourself, and if I can hear just from a couple of you, what's the significance of Kwanzaa and self-determination for you? Right, and I know some of you are not quite, right? So yes, Dion, thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, brothers and sisters. I think for me, and I pronounce it KUJICHAGULIA, I believe it's about drive and progression. So when I think about like self-determination and where I'm going, it's my driving, it's my essence, and the essence of who I am and where I want to go and what I want to celebrate and present with others to make a collective. So that's what I think about.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? What does KUJICHAGULIA, self-determination and Kwanzaa mean to you? If I can hear just from one other person. Was that you, Chris? Was that you, Chris, going to say something?
Yeah, well, I was going to say that for me, like in this day and time, like presently, and it just means being healthy, actually, right now, and mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, and taking care of yourself in that way. Just with everything going on around the world, I think it's important to like take time to meditate and find like your center and take care of your emotional space and really listen. I think that's what it is for me at this time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Byron, I see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I think for me, working on this project and holding this vision for all of these years, A Place to Be was conceived in 1995. And I think, vision is so critical now in the time that we live in, because if you watch TV, you'll probably be like, oh my God, we're gonna lose our democracy, all that craziness. And keeping what I've done during COVID is, and all of that is like, I can't be in that consciousness. I need to breathe what I'm bringing forth and what I'm going to contribute, as opposed to getting caught up in some fear or scarcity. So I think self-determination is being clear about your vision and being able to create practices that keep you in that context and surround yourself with people who will support growing that context. And Bill Davis, the guy who was on yesterday with me, has a quote that I live in, and it says, to the extent that you create context, you will be given by that context. So I think that that's like what self-determination represents for me, is you bringing forth your vision and living in that vision as a contribution for all, if that's what my vision is. So that's self-determination to me.
Thank you very much, and thanks for those of you who've contributed. And for those who are watching, just maybe think about, what does self-determination mean for you? And it might mean different things, but it's a really important question to kind of begin to ask yourself. So
could I say one more thing, Clifton? And because it's rare that I get to be with my brother in this forum, but Iega, him having those two dance companies and holding that vision, and he and I know him, he's been the one holding that torch. And when we were with the first company, he was determined not to get funding, but to be, self-sufficient. And that's not an easy path. And then in his second iteration, the company in Chicago, we had a lot of ups and downs. And, Chicago seems to be a place where you're either in the in circle or you're not in. And for a long time, we were working and doing great, good quality work, Iega leading that work. And finally now, so much has come to be, that circle has come to him. And he's developed this partnership with the University of Chicago. And there's just all of these fruitful things. But I remember many times when it was like, oh my God, this is really hard. And, just trying to be supportive to have IAGA continue to carry that vision, and his self-determination now 25, 30 years later has manifested some great things. So I just wanted to acknowledge him, Clifton, and I think it's a perfect demonstration of what self-determination is.
Thank you. So with that said, can you show the clips at
Yes.
the dance piece by Christopher Eclipse?
Yes, now I just have to find it. Okay, there it is. And let me take it back just a little bit. Why did I do that? There we go.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Can stop share. Okay. So, right. I mean, I don't know if you see Eclipse, there's a few applause that's going around. So what and I see thumbs up from Aiga. So watching that, what came up for people? Aiga, if you're saying something, you're on mute.
I think he's on the phone.
Oh, okay. There's anybody, what came up for them when they watched that before we hear from the clips? And Carmen, was you the dancer with for as much? Welcome. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Good to have you both.
Thank you.
So can I hear from somebody I haven't heard from? Kahera, Marlene. Kahera, you still with us?
Marlene wants to talk.
All right, Marlene, can you,
I was stunned.
say
I
more?
I saw them sitting at a desk, and after a while I realized that they're actually dancing. Oh, that's amazing. And blah, 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 blah. Fantastic. Fantastic. Touched my heart. Really, I'm just like, wow. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very, very, very much. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, what really struck me was, I mean, certainly to begin with, how very contemporary it was, in a sense that we've been living in this kind of Zoom world, right, with everything being on the screen and people almost connecting through the screen. And there just seemed like that just the way you started. 'Cause at first I was thinking, oh, what's happening? And then when you kind of started just moving and actually sitting down, I know that as in terms of a lot of my work, I've been doing, even playing games and that through the screen with people in different parts of the country and sometimes different parts of the world. So I just loved how you kind of brought that. And it seemed to kind of go through like the day. Right, and that's what kind of represented it. It kind of went from like almost work life and that to kind of, you know, the evening and then into the night, and it just seemed a real beautiful celebration. That's what came up for me. So tell me a bit more, Eclipse and Carmen, what kind of led you to that?
Well, first I want to acknowledge also Baba Yaga Jeff. That is my dance father and spiritual father on so many levels. I was a part of the first group that in Chicago when they started that came in. I think I was one of the first group of people that came in and started to work in Chicago with I call him Baba Yaga. And we all owe him so much in our community because he literally gave me vocabulary to use my body and speak through dance in a way that I hadn't done it before. So I always tell him thank you for that. He knows how much I love him, but I just have to acknowledge that he's here. Also, Carmen Chavez is a friend of mine that I've been knowing for almost 20 years, maybe 20 years in LA, in Los Angeles. We've worked together on several different projects. And she's a really close friend of mine, and she's someone that I admire so much because she works in the community here. She teaches in several different places in Los Angeles in our community, and she just touches so many people with her gift. And then also Thomas Riley's here. He is my partner, and he actually did the video work that you saw in the video. And of course, Dr. Byron Johns, thank you so much for having me do this. I just appreciate being able to be a part of this. This is right up my alley, and this is the kind of work that matters. So, yeah, I think what this was about, I was trying to do something that would appeal to people through Zoom on every age level. And I wanted to create something that would allow you to kind of create a story for yourself. So the man and woman aspect of it could be whatever you thought it was, whether it was a friendship, whether it was a relationship, whether it was a love ship. But it was more about two people coming together and having a vision together and following through with the vision. This last maybe month or two, or I've been hearing it in my head, build it and they will come, build it and they will come. And that was what was playing in my mind when I was choreographing it. So in my mind, I just saw two people sitting down and visualizing where they want to be in life. And, you know, a lot of times we do that with people. As a matter of fact, we do that with people, but we don't see the same vision when we're with them. And so we kind of can go in separate directions. So it was important for me to show that we were visualizing something together, that we conceptualizing together, so that we could work on that vision and go to that place together, wherever that vision is. And I think as a community, we have to work on like seeing each other's vision so we can actually support the vision. Because if we don't actually understand the vision, there's no way we can really jump in and help each other. So it was just a journey of getting to the vision. And the vision at the end of this was basically being able to see our dreams. So looking out to see all these possibilities and just having the ability to be able to do that together and know that we can accomplish anything out there, wherever out there is. And Carmen did a wonderful job. We basically did this, we shot it in, it took the whole day. You saw we started in the daytime and then we ended in the night. And it was just a beautiful process, honestly. Just, we laughed a lot and we thought about what we're doing. And originally we were actually going to have 6 dancers and it was going to start at the table with kids. And the kids was going to turn into adolescents and then the adolescents was going to turn into adults. And we were going to be the adults. And it's going to be the same storyline and just, you know, working to show that the timeline, but we weren't able to do that because of the time we had. So we had to work what we had. And it just turned out to be a good project, a happy mistake in a way.
Thank you. Carmen, is there anything you would like to share?
I just want to say thank you, Christopher, for allowing me to be a part of this journey and this process. And unity and communication is always important. Whether you are with a partner, whether you are with family, friends, business partners, and able to communicate and help each other and build is always a plus. Our youth are our number one priority, at least for me. That's what I work with all the time, and being able to set that foundation as far as growth and knowledge and knowing where we come from in order to, you know, make everything a wonderful process.
Thank you. And just before we move on, is there anybody that's got a question for either Eclipse or Carmen before we move on?
I don't have a question. I just want to say the work was beautiful. It was very inspiring. And what I want to say to you, Eclipse, is that I lived through your life. I'm affirmed by all that you're doing, and I really love and appreciate you. I just
Thank you.
Say that.
Thank you, Baba. It's funny, Baba. I tell you all the time, but I know Dr. Byron said this and everyone heard it, but you are my inspiration, and I've created so much work with you in mind. And you know, I'm not you taught us this, to have our own voice through movement, and I feel like I've developed it, but I don't think I would have had the same vocabulary without coming through your school of thought, even to the point where a lot of my work now, you know, I like to work with a purpose. And I started in the streets. You know, I started doing like talent shows and hip hop, and not that it didn't have a purpose, but I feel like it was sometimes misguided. And it could have been, you know, I learned how to use it in a way that helps instead of, you know, just being a flashy dance. You know, I created, you gave me a voice to like help the community through dance. So you know how much I love you and I appreciate you. And you know your words are taken to heart every time you speak to me. And yeah, so thank you. And if you guys haven't seen Deeply Rooted, check it out. Check out Deeply Rooted.
If I can share, I want to share a thought with you that stays with me.
Aiga, before
Yeah.
you go, you're like me on the first day.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I just want to share a thought with you that Alcoa would always share with me. He would say that spirits travel together, and that I'm not teaching you. I'm awakening. Through our relationship, I'm awakening what's already there within you. So I may be older, and I am older in this life. I came to the planet before you did in this life, but your spirit is well traveled, and we have interfaced at some other time in creation, and we're just having that opportunity again. And I've had the pleasure of connecting with you in the way that I have, and we've had the pleasure of awakening things in each other. I appreciate you equally.
I remember you saying this in the process before too, and as I was saying it now, I remember you actually saying in the process that when you were trying to get us to a certain dance, you would have to say, you guys have to understand the vision. We all have to understand the vision if we're going to do this together. And you would say, you know, we're not doing like the Europeans. We're going to do this like Africans. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk about what we're doing, and we're going to get to this vision together. And yeah, those words, they still stick with me as I process. So I do believe that. I believe what you're saying as far as meeting in another place and time. And I know that you were sitting here as a guide to me, and I tell everybody that around the world. So, yeah.
Thank you. And I must admit,
thank you, Clifton.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just loving the energy, right? And actually, what also happens when we kind of create the space, right, for us to be who we are, but also to acknowledge each other and recognize that, you know, that we can't be without the other. And it reminds me of that Ubuntu saying, I am because we are. Yeah. Because we are, I am. And it's like, you know, one without the other just don't work. And I'm just loving the kind of connection and the kind of affirmation and all of that we're saying. So just want to say thank you. So I'm just going to tell you, and it's very brief, about Sankofa. Sankofa is an Akan word which literally means go back and get it, means to go back and fetch it. And that was inspired by me seeing the film Sankofa, right? And I can't remember how long ago it was, but it's over 20 odd years ago that I saw the film Sankofa. And I was fortunate enough to see the director, right? I mean, the screening that I saw of Sankofa, the director was in the audience, and he spoke about what led him to make the film. And he was saying about how important it is for us to be able to share our stories, to tell our stories and share it. And for me, that's part of what really drew me. And Sankofa for me, and one of the things it says about Sankofa, it's the knowledge of the past upon which ancient cultural and ancestral wisdom and knowledge is based on, right? To benefit current and future generations, right? And for me, that's almost the heart of, you know, self-determination. When we do that, then we're in a place that we can determine and we can be all what we choose to be, right? I think without that knowledge of our ancient past and what we stand on, it's quite easy for us to forget who we are. And in forgetting who we are, then it becomes very difficult for us to realize that kind of dream. And that kind of motivates me in terms of the work that I do, right? So part of my work is actually to support individuals and people to get to the essence of who they are. And for me, I kind of see it as returning home. And it's returning home to whatever home means to people. For some people, it might be returning to a physical place. For some, it might be actually returning to that place within, right? And for others, you know, it means different things. But Sankofa for me means whatever it is, and it's returning to the essence and finding the essence of who you are that can support you to realize your dreams, right? And to, you know, to do your vision and all of that kind of thing. And it's also one of practice for me. It's quite easy to say, right, what it is, but it's also one of practice. I was fortunate enough also to do a rites of passage program over 20 odd years ago. And one of the things, rites of passage says that you should ask yourself 4 questions. Who am I? Am I who I say I am? Am I all I ought to be? And am I living my life purpose? And that's the heart of any work that I do. So the work that Sankofa is about delivering rites of passage programs for adults. It's also about doing eldership program. One of the things that Marlene, who's with us, and another friend of and colleague of ours, Eli Anderson, we run understanding eldership programs. So it's about that. It's also about, for me, it's about coaching and supporting people to realize and, you know, what their dreams and goals are. It's about selling books. One of the things that I used to do, I used to sell black books that dealt with history and culture and you know, personal development, a whole range of things. And that still speaks very, very much to the heart of me, because it's through some of those books that I got a sense of what was possible for me. And as a result of some of those books, I was able to see some of the kind of, a lot of African-American as well as African-British scholars who were able to teach. And they influenced me in the way that I work as well. One of them that really influenced me is Dr. Wade Nobles, who's an African-American psychologist. And he's the one that, certainly in terms of asking for permission, was where I kind of got that from. And our standing on our cultural base and what that means. So that's what kind of Sankofa means, and there's much more. And one of the things that I'm going to be developing and looking at is also having returned to Ghana experience through Brother Kwaku, who has the Hawa Collective, right? Kwaku and I has worked together for years, and I was fortunate enough to, 3 years ago, spend some time with Kwaku in Ghana. That had a real significant impact for me, and really impacted and influenced even further the work that I do. Right, so that's all I want to share. I mean, does anybody have any questions before I go into the bit I would like people to do?
I don't have a question, but I would like to comment on some things.
Okay.
And you said it, African British, and I'm pushing this whole collaboration because I don't think that, at least my experience is that African Americans and African British British folks get to commune that frequently. So I think that there's a great possibility there. Like Aiega and Kahara and the other folks on here around dance, you know, that's a real good possibility for a dance collaboration. And there was Deeply Rooted did do a dance collaboration that was with some folks in Durban. They have the Durban Dance Festival, and that was a several-year collaboration. And then there was a choreographer exchange between the two. So that's the possibility, and I'm committed that Clinton and I work together to bring that together. Also, in Ghana, Bloom is looking to host a festival next year. So that's something that people can plug into, and hopefully we can all be there and mix it up a bit there. And then the opportunity now is Clifton. He talked about understanding eldership, and that's really about us, as some of us are seniors, including myself, understanding what our role is in the community and just kind of inquiring into that. So hopefully we can have this cross-cultural exchange with not just Americans and African British, but also African and Canadians and all of that. That's my hope for going forward as one of the first things that we do, and that's the way we can exchange virtually. So Clifton, thank you for letting me put in that little commercial.
Thank you. So this is going to be the last bit I've got. And yeah, I just want us to go around and say our names, and I'm going to do it according to how people are on my screen, just for time and speed. And so what I would like you to do is to say your name, right? If you know what your name means, say what it means? And how do you feel about it? And if you're known by any other name, because that's really important, because some of us may be in there of giving out, of named ourselves literally, which is part of the principle of KUJICHAGULIA and self-determination. So, right, according to my screen, I'm going to start with you, Dr. Byron.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I think I've looked in a book, and my name means from the cottage. And so I'm going to make that mean that, I left my neighborhood in Philly to fulfill this vision, to be able to come back. So I'm away from the cottage now, and I'll be coming back. So that's it for me.
Okay. And who gave it to you? Who gave you your name?
My mother did. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Marlene, you're next.
Yes, my name is Marlene. My name was given to me by my father, and it means Mary. In French, in German, it's a fairly similar Marlene, and people have a way of pronouncing my name. They emphasize different Marlene or Marlene, and it's entertaining at times to listen to people how they say my name. But I like the name Marlene. I'm glad I wasn't called Mary. I prefer Marlene to Mary. And if I had to change my name, I wouldn't do it lightly.
Okay, thank you.
It's something I've got right now. So,
yeah. Carmen, you're next. If you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. My name is actually from the opera Carmen. My mother named me from the Black opera Carmen. So, okay. Yeah.
And how do you feel about it?
How do I feel about here?
No, about the name.
Oh, I love my name. I love my name. Yep. Especially with the first name and the last name. So it's very Hispanic.
Right, thank you.
Yes.
Christopher Eclipse, you're next, sir.
Christopher Eclipse. So I'll make it short as possible. Christopher is my birth name, and Eclipse was a given name to me, and another spiritual father of mine named Aten confirmed that name. Christopher means to bear Christ or to bear Christ's light. Tefer means to bear, and obviously Christ, and I think of it as just carrying the light or to bear the burden of light. And eclipse means the balance between light and dark, because my community that I grew up confirmed that I carry a fine balance of light and dark, and that it would be my thing in life to always keep that in balance, and it is. So I wouldn't change that, because it reminds me pretty much daily that, I have real things that I have to work on to stay balanced.
Thank you very much. Kehera, are you with us?
Yes, yeah. I am. So my name Kehera means born at home, which I was. And alongside my middle name, which is Abiola, it means born into wealth, fame and fortune. I did sort of go through a phase where I resented my name a little bit because it's not common. I grew up in London, and I have had to correct people a lot of the time, even now, on my name. So through like my teenage years, I started to go by Kazi or Kaz, which was a very common nickname amongst all of my friends. And that was just an easier way for people to address me. And I sort of lay with that, but now I love my name. I wouldn't change my name at all. I actually push a lot more now for people to call me by my actual name. And that is because the weight of it, the importance of it, that was given by my parents. There was a lot of thought put into it. And subconsciously throughout my whole life, I have sort of wanted to live up to my name. Apart from being born at home, which I was already, and I didn't have control over that. Being born into wealth, fame and fortune, everything that I've chosen to do, I've wanted to do it the best ability that I can and make sure that it does bring me wealth, fame and fortune.
Yeah. And what she hasn't told you is that her birth is featured in a pregnancy and childbirth book, right? Hence the name of Born into Wealth and Fortune. And the book was sold, yeah, all over. In fact, my sister in New York saw it before we did in the book. So just to let you know. But thank you, Kahira. Right. So the next one on my list is you, Aega.
My name, what I know about my given name, Kevin Jeff is my given name, is the only thing I know about Kevin, I know Kevin is Irish. I know that Jeff has something to do with a slaveholder in Texas. And my father's name is Willie, and there's a line of Willie Jeffs. And when I came to Chicago, I actually met someone, a Willie Jeff, or descendants of a Willie Jeff, that I ended up finding out were my family. Okay, so that's what I know about Kevin Jeff. The vibration of the name has been helpful, but not fully descriptive of who I am. So I chose my name. My chosen name is Ayega. I chose it when I made my first trip to Kemet, to Egypt. And I was given a numerology system by which to do it. And I studied with my mentor for a few years prior to choosing my name. But when I made my first trip to Kemet, I chose it while meditating on the Great Pyramid of Giza. And when I was 21 years old. And it didn't come to me like, whoa, I was expecting this kind of extraordinary feeling, but it really just kind of crept up to me in a way that I wasn't quite sure if it was the right name, but I went with it, and it is the right name. And what it means is messenger, and not necessarily because I have a message per se, but mostly to remind me to be responsible artistically, because whatever you do conveys a message. It sends energy out there. So the name is to be cognizant of that. And yeah, that's how that happened.
Thank you very much, Dion.
Sure.
Thank you, Dion.
Hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Dion. Actually spelled with 2 N's and an E, but that's just my pseudonym that you've seen on there. My name was given to me by an auntie, my mum's sister, who actually proceeded she went to have children, but actually ended up having 3 boys. And so I'm the only girl amongst 6, which is quite interesting. And my name means divine. So take it as you were.
Thank you, Dion. Angela, can you hear me? And can you speak?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, my name's Angela, Clifton's sister, Kira's auntie. My mum told me I was a nurse named me. She just thought I looked angelic when I was a baby. So that's where my name came from. I do think I was quite spiritual when I was very young. And also I did join a group, a movement back when I was a teenager, Hebrew Israelites, and I was given the name Shavanya, which means returning to God, which I don't really use that much really. But yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Right, Thomas, are you with us?
Hello.
Hello, Thomas.
Hi, I'm here. Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
Thomas.
Hi. Yes. My name's Thomas. I'm named after my dad. My dad named me the same name as him without a middle name, the same as him. So he always reads my post, which we were arguing about today, actually. So, Thomas means twin, I think. I want to say, I think in Arabic, I'm not 100% sure. And I do like that because I do feel like I have kind of sort of like a double spirit in a way, and 2 different aspects of myself. I was going to be called Berlin, however, because I was born the day the Berlin Wall collapsed. so my dad wanted to call me Berlin. And my older brother has kind of a different name. His name is Sevi, after the golfer Sevi Ballesteros. So my dad got that one. So then when he was like, hey, what about Berlin? My mum was like, absolutely not. You need to give him a normalish name. So I ended up with Thomas. So, but yeah. And I usually go by Tom, but I actually do like Thomas now because Christopher's my partner and he calls me Thomas. And other than him and my parents, nobody calls me Thomas, but I like it now. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
No problem.
My name's Clifton, and Clifton's an Old English name, which means settlement by a hill. So, I mean, Byron, I wonder if that's why me and you connect. I mean, I heard the cottage, and I'm wondering if, you know, the settlement by the hill is the cottage. And the reason why I kind of say that is because we almost connected almost immediately. And I was named by a family friend, and I think some of the names that was being thought of was considered that you know, I think one of them in particular, which I won't say just in case there's anybody listening with that name, was that it was seen that not to name me that because all the person of that name they knew was all bad and they didn't want it to be bad, and they say give him the name Clifton Clement, and Clement means merciful and all that, and they say that, you know, and I'm also known as, you know, a bit like Marley, stretched out, then I know I'm in trouble, right? You know, especially when Mum lives and there's different names. I'm known by different names in different spaces, which is, and some of them has been given. One of the names that I'm known by quite widely is Mac or Mackie, and that's a shortened version of my surname. And Mac means son of, right? So whatever the next name, son of, I mean, you know, McDonald's, it'd be son of Donald. But I like the name Mac, and that's what a lot of my friends call me. And when I did my rites of passage and I had a divination done, and the name that was given to me was Ola Deje, which means wealth has doubled. So I'm known by that. So as we come to the end, what was that like? Saying your name, right? Saying what your name means or who gave you.
Is Clifton frozen for everybody else?
Anybody.
Will understand their name and know that their name. Yeah. Is everyone there?
Yeah,
I can hear you. I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I was just saying, I think it's just nice that like that people understand their name and that it has meaning. That's just important in our community because your name really does map out your destination. It is a mantra. You say it all the time. It just feels like a mantra to me, or affirmation.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Anybody else? What was it like saying your name or even hearing what other people had to say about their name?
I think for me, it was really an opportunity to create something else because I've never really, my name has not, from the cottage, never meant anything from me. But today, in just speaking it and seeing where I am in my life, because I've always wanted to get out of my community and I've made it out and now I'm going to go back. But so I've actually got to contextualize it. I didn't know, that's a surprise. I didn't know that was going to happen today.
Anybody else? Okay. And just want to kind of say what Eclipse says as we kind of come to the end. It's really important because the name, you know, kind of says who we are. And I think it's really important for us to kind of reclaim as well as relook at the names that we were given, even if they were European names. More often than not, our parents named us, right, for a particular reason. right? And actually, if you kind of look at it from a kind of cultural perspective, even, you know, if we were on the continent of Africa, you know, there were real specific reasons that we were named, right? And sometimes, as I said, it's just really, really important to kind of remember that, and you know, and that some of our parents actually went through the same processes that might have happened, you know, centuries ago, and we don't even realize it. And I think that's just really important to kind of reclaim that, and maybe relook at, you know, the kind of names and find out the stories. Because I know sometimes the stories behind it, the name in itself might not necessarily mean much, you know, or we might think it doesn't. But if we then hear the stories that kind of go with our naming, that can then put it into real sharp focus, right? Into real things about it. Me knowing that, you know, straight away that that they didn't want me to be bad. You know, they wanted me, you know, and it was saying, give him the name CC McDonald because that has some importance, right? And that being shared as a story for me kind of makes me realize that actually I'm somebody to be important, right? It kind of gives a real context for all of that. And so it's, yeah, I just want us to kind of think of that, right? And that's part of reclaiming and, you know, defining our names and all of that kind of thing. And I've heard some people chose and were given, you know, chose their names and all that kind of thing. And it's just to remember, just to kind of think about that, because sometimes we don't, right? And just being with it can give us a different perspective of who we are, what's possible for us. So with that said, as we come to the end, right, I'm going to just ask, and I'm going to do it reverse way round, right? I'm just going to kind of say, people to say their name and just one word that kind of comes up, right? It could be that's come up about what we've done. It could be something that you're taking away from what we've done in the last hour and a bit, right? Or something how you might be feeling right now. So I don't mind starting. My name's Clifton, and I feel very honored. So next is you, Thomas.
My name is Thomas, and I feel very happy.
Thank you. Angela, you're next. Angela?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to unmute. My name is Angela. I feel relaxed.
Thank you. Next is you, Dion.
My name's Dion and I feel reflective.
Thank you. Aida, you're next.
Dion said what I was going to say.
You can still say it. It's not exclusive.
My name is Ayega and I feel very reflective.
Thank you. Kahira, you're next.
My name is Kahira and I feel relieved.
Thank you. Eclipse.
My name is Eclipse and I feel love.
Thank you. Carmen.
My name is Carmen and I feel inspired.
Thank you. Marlene.
My name is Marlene and I feel thoughtful.
Thank you. And last, but by no means least, Dr. Byron.
My name is Byron and I feel fueled to continue the journey. And before you close, Clifton, let me do a commercial, okay?
Yep.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Right.
So we've been doing 7 days of celebrating collectives, and I just want to put up the flyer and encourage you all to join the celebration. This is the website of A Place to Be where you'll find information about it. You can click on that button there to register. This is, we're in day 2 with Clifton and Eclipse. Tomorrow we have Urban Sass with Diana, and Andrea is the choreographer, and Andrea is from London as well. Diana recently moved from Jamaica, and Urban Sass is about women and travel. So if you want to just check in tomorrow. Should be a very interesting conversation. And then as we go further in the week, we have Bloom with Kwaku, who will be the choreographer from Accra, the International Black Summit with Aloma, and Shanera is from Fayetteville, Christopher Eclipse, who is a man of 3 countries, and he's going to share about his collectives in South Africa and in Tokyo. And Ronaldo is a dancer with the Ailey Company, and he has a solo that he's performing. And then Maury Edwards is the choreographer for Los Angeles, and Kwaku will be sharing with his collective Awu in Ghana. So please check us out. As I said earlier, the broadcast will be put on the YouTube channel, even some of the raw footage. I know with my interview, there was a lot of editing, like 30-minute segments edited down to 5 minutes. So there'll be a lot of rich content if you want. Also, I just want to say that A Place to Be is about creating with people. You know, I think we need to create our own forums in this time. And if you have an idea and you want to create a forum, we can work with you to bring that forth inside of what we call contemporary dialogues. And those are things that bring people together who share common commitments and concerns and want to work together to impact those concerns. So those of you who are not on the list, if you'd like to be registered, I can register you. If you put your email and name in the chat, I'll make sure that you get on the list, and we send out an invitation and the link every day. It's a different link because it's a different broadcast. So I want to thank Clifton and Eclipse for taking on this project, and Carmen and Thomas for doing such a great job with the project and the video. And I just want to say I'm so moved that you all are here participating inside of A Place to Be, and thank you for just the contribution. This is what it's all about, connection. I feel very connected, and it's really simple. And I think we've gotten away from that, and that's what we want to inspire with, if it's just one other person or 1,000 people making that connection. So Clifton, back over to you.
And I just want to say a big, big thank you for being present, for bringing yourselves, and for sharing what you've shared. It's been really, really rich. And as I said, hence why I just feel very honored and blessed. So thank you very, very much.
Can I ask a quick question before we go?
Yes,
because it was inspired by the sharing about collaborating across continents. And we're going to be, the company called Phoenix and Leeds reached out to us about doing a collaboration, which we've begun seeding. So I just was wondering if any of you know anything about Leeds or can share anything that you feel about collaborating, you know, between America and England. I would really love to hear from you. So I'm just putting that out there. If you have any insight or advice or thoughts, please take my email. If I put it in the chat, and feel free to reach out, and I would love to set up a time to talk with you if possible. Okay. So thank you for that. A little bit of.
Okay, thank you. Well, this is what the space, like Byron said, this is the space for us to do that. Yeah. So, thank you. But that's me done, you know, Byron. I'm done.
Okay.
You know, but I mean, I just want to say, yeah, thank you. And as I mean, you know, it's 8 o'clock our time in London. So I don't know what time it is where you are in the world, but you know, whatever it is you do, you know, yeah, love and blessings.
Great, and thank you, Clifton. And Iega, I don't see your information in the chat, so if people want to get it.
Oh, wait, I thought I put it in. Hold on, let me do it again. I put it in. I sent it to Eclipse.
I just want to say that Deeply Rooted Dance Theater, and Iega, you should also put the website in there so they can go check out the dance. It's very high quality dance, but they used to have a slogan called Grassroots Connections, World-Class Art. And he's a taskmaster when it comes to getting things really refined and sharp, and certainly Eclipse can attest to that. So
I just want to mention that my daughter was accepted to Deeply Rooted before the pandemic hit for a summer program. Yes.
we didn't get to do it, man.
Yes, November is her name. She was accepted on a full scholarship with your company, and she was actually had accepted to go.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we get the blessing of having her soon.
Yes. Yes.
Now, Aiga, I just want to, Kahara is also a dance person, and maybe you guys can connect in some ways, and maybe she can come to the summer intensive. It's a really wonderful program. So maybe you can come to the States for, how long is the program, Aiga?
It's 4 weeks.
4 weeks, yeah.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And Kahara, you said you're going to be, is it tomorrow or Thursday that you're going to be with?
I think it's tomorrow.
With Andrea. You're in the dance piece with Andrea. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I saw your piece. I didn't know it was you though. Wow.
That's what dance does.
Totally different than in the video too. I wouldn't have recognized.
That's what it does.
Takes a whole different persona.
So
I'm really excited for everybody to get to
KUJICHAGULIA, Habaragani.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So take care, everybody.
Have a great day.
All right.
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.